All right, what is up everybody? Divine Hood here, coming at you with another daily update on Bitcoin and the crypto markets. Welcome in everybody, Sunday evening live stream here, and we are getting some price action on the altcoins here throughout the weekend. Ethereum continues to just skyrocket to the upside as Bitcoin continues its range, and Bitcoin is seeing that three-wave corrective move on a larger time frame like we were talking about. But I just want to dive into Ethereum, guys, because Ethereum is breaking some major key levels here and really coming to the upside. I am going to tell you guys a potential price target that I'm going to be looking at on Ethereum. We'll go over some of the larger Elliott timeframes. And Ethereum is looking like we could continue much higher. And then we could see the alts follow. You know, Solana breaking out, coming up to our resistance still. But as we know, money goes into Bitcoin. Then after Bitcoin has its pump, money does flow into Ethereum. After Ethereum has its pump, then money flows into these large cap altcoins, which we see a lot of them starting to pump right now. And then the money flows into micro caps. And this is usually how the cycle ends. And so we are, thank you. Thank you for the heads up on the music, Archie TV. Thank you for the heads up on the music. All right, how's the music now? All right, let's just check in here real quick, guys. Okay, cool. Thank you, Archie. I really appreciate that. And thank you, Begcoins as well. All right, guys, sorry about that. So what I was saying, not much. I was just saying that Bitcoin continues to range. We are continuing to see that corrective move down. And as Bitcoin continues its range, what we see in these market cycles is that the money will flow from Bitcoin into Ethereum. Ethereum has its crazy pump, and then after Ethereum is done pumping, usually that money will flow into the other large cap altcoins and then into micro cap altcoins, thus ending the cycle. This is how every cycle ends, and I do think that we are about to see that happen over the next weeks here in the crypto market. And so what I would like to talk about, we'll talk about Ethereum, really just going to cover Bitcoin really quickly. All of this, if you guys saw my stream on Thursday or Friday, all of this is really review, because we were looking for a bigger 3-wave corrective move down. We hit into our 1.618, which is our wave 3 Fibonacci extinction target. We were expecting a correction from this area, and we were expecting a bigger 3-wave move down to take out those lows around 115.2K. And Bitcoin is seeing a bit of a dump now. You can see on the 4-hour time frame, we just dumped to the value area low of our range. And this range has been a range that we've been in 10 or 11 days here. We've been back since July 10th. So yeah, 10 days we've been in this range now. And Bitcoin is holding the value area, but I do expect another move down, at least to take out the lows, and possibly even a little bit further than that, down to like 115K. But we are looking at that bigger ABC correction. Now, within an ABC correction, guys, we do see a sub count. Let me grab, let's see here, in here. Within your bigger ABC correction, you're expecting a sub count of a 5-wave impulse down in a wave A, a 3-wave corrective move up in a wave B, and another 5-wave impulse down within a wave C. And generally, your wave C will take out the lows of wave A. So I am just still expecting for this to happen on Bitcoin. And we are seeing it continue to play out here. Those bear divs that we were seeing on the charts, money flow is draining out of the asset on the 2-hour, on the 4-hour. And I think that we could come take out those lows probably tonight or tomorrow morning when markets open. But while that is happening, we see the altcoins, specifically Ethereum, just skyrocketing to the upside. Let's just zoom out onto the 6-hour chart. And what I would like to say about Ethereum is, we are breaking the value area high of our range. Actually, let's go on to the daily chart. So if you look at our larger range since the March 2024 highs, so over a year, about a year and 4 months, we are breaking our volume profile value area high to the upside, and we are closing multiple daily candles above it, about to close a weekly candle above it in about 40 minutes here. But if we go ahead and turn on our 4-year range, so this is our huge range that Ethereum has been in for the last 4 years. You can see this topping range here after really parabolic price action to the upside. You can see that the value area high of this 4-year range is about the same area as the 2024 range, March 2024 range. And we are closing multiple daily candles above the value area high and about to close a weekly candle above that value area high. So we can expect movement to continue, momentum to continue to the upside on Ethereum. And as long as we're above this value area high, which also happens to be the bottom of the pitchfork band, and this upper band here, these 2 green lines, this upper band of the pitchfork, as long as we are not closing below this upper band, which is going to be around that 3,400, 35, 3,450-ish, I do think we will see continuation on Ethereum over the next days and possibly weeks up to some key levels of resistance. So let's go ahead and talk about some of those key levels of resistance. I'm going to turn on a trend-based Fibonacci extinction. Now, this trend-based Fibonacci extinction is going from our lows, our multi-month corrective lows, up to our potential wave 1 highs, down to our wave 2 lows. Now, there's a couple different scenarios. There's a bullish and a bearish scenario for this case here. And I would like to say, if it is, first of all, in my opinion, it is looking more bullish based off of the large increase in volume we're seeing right now on this push to the upside. But there is a bearish case scenario, and we do need to be aware of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our trend-based Fibonacci extinction, and we're going to go from the lows of our wave A or wave 1. In a bearish scenario, it's going to be a wave A. In a bullish scenario, it's going to be a wave 1. We're going to go to our highs, and then we're going to go back down to our lows here. And first off, look at where that 1.618 Fibonacci extinction is ending. exactly at the top of the pitchfork. Now, if this is going to be a 5-wave impulse to the upside, where you have your wave 1, your wave 2, your wave 3 retracing or shooting up, taking out the highs into the top of the pitchfork at 45.35-ish, then after your wave 3 finishes, you're expecting a bit of a corrective move down, possibly all the way back down to backtest that value area high of our 4-year range before continuing to make one new high in a 5-wave impulse to the upside on the daily time frame or on the weekly time frame. We're expecting a bit of a big move to the upside. Now, our wave 4 correction is going to be generally as long or longer than your wave 2 correction. And our wave 2 correction did last. Let's actually go ahead and just get rid of these now. Our wave 2 correction did last quite a while here. This range that we saw lasted really like 45 days, a couple months here. And actually you could even say 60 days or so. So I am looking for Ethereum potentially in our bullish scenario to continue impulsing within this current impulse to the upside. We do have some substructure in here where we could expect a push all the way up to 45.34 in our bigger third wave before correcting, seeing a multi-month correction possibly down to about 3,500, 3,600 in a wave 4 before continuing to break up to new all-time highs in a wave 5, thus ending Ethereum's big daily or weekly impulse to the upside. Now, that is the bullish case scenario. We also do need to look at the bearish case scenario. And if we go ahead and take that same trend-based Fibonacci extinction, and we're going to go ahead and turn on our ABC targets, but let's make sure we got that clicked off. All right. And if this is going to be a bearish 3-wave corrective move, which probability so far is this is not going to be this, but we do need to keep this in mind. If it is going to be a 3-wave corrective move, then your target area to end that correction, most common target area, is between the 1-to-1 Fibonacci extinction and your 1.236 Fibonacci extinction. Well, you can see we are in that zone as we speak. We are pumping up today with today's daily candle up into that zone. But caveat here, we are breaking above our pitchfork band, and it looks like in about 15 minutes we are going to close this daily candle above this pitchfork band and another daily candle above the value area high. And to me, this is a bullish sign that bullish continuation will happen. And I do think that we are going to continue pushing up to about that 45.30 level, 45.35 level. It looks like Ethereum wants to continue running here, and we are not really seeing a slowing down yet of the impulsive price action that is happening on Ethereum. So once again, going back to that 1.618 Fibonacci extinction target. Now, I am long on Ethereum still. I actually took a scalp long from the bottom of the pitchfork. I gave you guys this in my Telegram group a couple days ago. And I left only about 10% of that trade is open running still. I've taken 90% profits out at that weekly level of 36.30. But I do still have some running, and my next take profit level will be at 45.35-ish, 45.30. Maybe I might front run it by a few dollars. But that is going to be the next take profit level for Ethereum based off of our Elliott impulse pattern to the upside. It is looking strong here. And let's zoom in here onto the 2-hour chart. You can see here that it is breaking above what was holding as resistance on Thursday and Friday. We had a slow corrective move down over the weekend, and now we are starting to break back above, continuing this push to the upside. And I do expect small ebbs and flows in the price action like this. Like, we'll get small corrective moves. But overall, I do expect this impulse to continue pushing up to potentially that 45.35 level. And that is not even the end of our big weekly impulse or daily multi-day impulse there. Let me go ahead and check the chat here, see how you guys are doing. Welcome in, everybody. RG and Bag Coins, thank you guys. Beg Coins, thank you guys for letting me know about the audio. Appreciate that. NTK555, welcome in, man. Thank you. Casper crew, man. Jason Casper is a legend, and I love being part of the Casper crew. What's up, Preparing for War? Welcome in. Matrix Mike, welcome in. And thank you for that nice comment, man. I appreciate it. And I do love doing this TA with you guys and for you guys. And yes, we're going to check Sui and Say. We'll check Sui and Say. Sudeep, what is up? Much love, Sudeep. How are you? So guys, without further ado, we'll get into the altcoins. I don't have as much time today on the stream, but we will get into as many altcoins as we can. And I just wanted to cover Ethereum real quickly based off what we're seeing on Ethereum and based off what we know about the larger market cycle, the psychology of the crypto cycle. We know that money rotates from Bitcoin into Ethereum and then into the large cap alts and into the micro cap alts. So we have a lot of opportunities for us in the coming weeks to make some really good profits on our spot portfolios, but also on our leverage trading, depending on how we play these impulses to the upside, how we play this last possible leg of the bull market to the upside. Archie TV, one of the most valuable TA channels here on YouTube for free, guys. Thank you, Archie. I really do appreciate that. I do try to provide value to you guys as much as I can. And I just want to be part of the community and put my 2 cents in. And, you know, if you guys appreciate it, thank you. And if not, that's okay too. But welcome, guys. Thank you for joining. So let's go ahead and now we'll go into Sui real quick. Sui is, okay, guys, last time we talked about Sui, we talked about this bigger descending channel that we were seeing on Sui and a breakout of this descending channel looking to come up to really our first target was between 441 and 445. Let's zoom in a little bit more. Let's go to the 2-hour chart. And that is going to be where our value area high of our range is in confluence with the naked weekly point of control. But I would like to say that Sui is looking like a little bit exhausted here. And you can see not only, actually, let's zoom out a bit more and let's grab this range. Let's pull it all the way. So you can see that value area high is coming in right around 445, 444, 445. Sui, when we break out of a channel like this, generally you want to see that initial back test of the channel, and then you want to see continuation pushing up to hitting those, you know, the SFP at least at 430 or pushing up into that value area high resistance. But we are seeing a bit of some struggle here on Sui, and our money flow is leaving out of the asset. We did just print some hidden bearish div signals earlier here on Sui earlier today, rejecting from a lower high. And if we look at Sui, let's, I'm just going to hide this range. This range pretty much we've been in for about a week now. And let's hide this range and let's talk about Sui. So first off, Sui is maintaining support. The breakout of the descending channel, the bigger descending channel, is maintaining as support for now. But I would like to give some caution that Sui might be done with its little impulse here. You know, it's 1 2 1 2 1 2, bigger impulse. Actually, I would look at this as a double 1 2. You have your 1 2 1 2. This is the start of your third wave. You have a wave 1, a wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5 inside your third wave, and then possibly 4 5. Now, there's a problem with this. If you have 2 1 2s, you do need 2 4 5s. And so there's a potential that this holds and we do continue up to that 441. But as far as the larger, or as far as our break-in market structure, we have broken market structure bearishly on the 4-hour time frame. If we look at our range lows, our prior range lows here, you can see we came down on Friday. We broke those bearishly. So now that we're starting to break market structure bearishly, we're going to be looking for a potential lower high to come in on the charts. And if we do reject from a key area of resistance on a lower high, you might be expecting one more leg down in your 3-wave zigzag correction to the downside. So if we go ahead and pull a Fibonacci from our highs on last Thursday to our lows on Friday, where did we reject? Well, we rejected right at the golden pocket, and this was an area where I actually took some more profit at this area when we did start to reject from this area. I took some more profit on my Sui long from much lower because I am expecting another potential push to the downside here on Sui. So first off, broke market structure bearishly on the 4-hour. Now that tells us that we should be looking for a potential lower high to come in on the charts for a rejection, for a continuation of the correction to the downside. And where is the most common area to reject on a lower high? Well, it is your golden pocket. It's between your golden pocket and your 786. But our golden pocket did reject us. And if we do turn on that small range, let's go ahead and turn on that 7-day range. You can see it was also the point of control and really the value area high of our range as well. So, deviate the lows of the range, get back within the range. You expect to move up to that point of control. If you reject from that point of control, you expect to move at least back down to the value area low. Well, we just got that. And potentially even to take out your lows, in this case, our lows from Friday. And so if we look at our trend-based Fibonacci extension, once again, grabbing your trend-based Fibonacci extension, you're going to go from the highs of the corrective move down to the lows up to your lower high. And we're going to turn on that ABC correction target. Well, look at where our one-to-one correction ends. It ends right on our major point of control. Now, since we have broken above our major point of control earlier, a couple weeks ago on the 10th, we have not backtested it yet to confirm a flip to support. So there is a potential that SUI does continue in this three-wave corrective move, having your ABC correction coming down to about that 347 level, where we do have confluence with our major range point of control. And this would be an area where I would be looking to look for a long to push up to at least take out your highs of the range, but really to come up to that 441 to 445 or much, much higher. But I do want to say there is a little bit of caution with this, because we do have that big descending channel, and this descending channel has been our multi-month, really coming all the way back to November. So 6-7 months. This range here, this descending channel has been our corrective trend ever since we kind of completed that huge impulse to the upside, this big move to the upside here, 5-wave impulse to the upside. And after completing that impulse, you are expecting a correction sideways and down. But if we fail to break out of this channel, like we did now, seeing a little bit of a deviation out of the channel and then start to fall back inside the channel, there is a potential that we could rotate all the way back down to the value area low of the range at 251. So what I would say here, what's up, Mark Dutch? It's good to see you, man. Thank you for joining. Guys, Mark Dutch is the best of the moderators out there. So welcome in, Mark. Thank you for joining. Okay, getting back to SUI real quick, guys. There is a potential that if we do lose 347, then we do see a much, much larger drop to the downside. And, if we lose 347, of course, we can pull a golden pocket, and we can be looking at our golden pocket around 304 to 298. And this golden pocket is going to be important as well. It could be our next higher low before continuing the push up. But I would like to say, as far as lower time frames go, 347 is going to be your key area of support, where if SUI is just in a 3-wave corrective move to the downside, that one-to-one ABC correction target in confluence with your point of control of the range must hold, and we must start to see some impulsive price action out of this, really breaking up and taking out our highs from Thursday, excuse me, but also really coming up to take out those 430 highs that we have, the highs of the impulse, and really coming up to like 441 or 445. 441 to 445. So still looking for SUI. It is still looking pretty good here. We are holding the value area low of our range for now, but because we did reject from this lower high golden pocket after breaking market structure bearishly, taking out these lows here, signaling a break in market structure bearishly, we were expecting to maybe look for a lower high here. And if we did reject from that lower high, you might also see a lower low. Now, if we do hold this value area low now and hold pretty much the channel, we pretty much came back to backtest that channel again. But if we hold this and we start to break above this golden pocket, because you can see the golden pocket is also the value area high of our 7-day range, then I expect continuation up to that 441 level. It's all going to depend on whether we start to close. If we start to close hourly candles down below our value area low of the range, then I do think we could continue to come down to 347 too. So I hope that helps a bit. Let's see who asked about that. Oh. Yeah, so I Sui, we'll check Say now. But whoever asked about Sui, I hope that helps you a little bit on Sui. I am still bullish overall on Sui, but that three-wave corrective move down would actually just be for me an opportunity to add to the long at 347 to at least break it out to 441, but potentially much, much higher. All right, let me check the chat again. So CRV, we can look at so Say, we'll check Say. We'll check CRV. Oh, Kajus, that was you that asked about Sui. So, Kajus, I hope that helped a little bit with Sui. Yeah, guys, please drop a like. If you guys get anything out of this video, please drop a like and subscribe if you feel called to. I do try to go live three days a week and give you guys my updates. Also, we do have a couple partners of the channel. Real quick, guys, I know some of you guys don't like this, but I do just need to share with you guys my partners. BYDFI is a KYC free exchange, and they also are a VPN free exchange. Now, I am finding out that they are restricted in some areas. So if you are restricted in that area, you might need to use a VPN, but they're offering right now a 50% deposit bonus. If you deposit $100, you can get a 50% deposit bonus on that deposit. And also, if you do deposit $100, you guys can get access to a new Telegram group I started with BYDFI, where you can get access to some of the trade setups that I provide in that Telegram group. Also, updates on just different trades that I'm looking at. So if you're interested in that, the links are in the description in the comments, both for the Telegram group and to sign up for BYDFI. They're offering a 17% discount minimum on trading fees if you do sign up using that affiliate link. But depending on how much you deposit, you can get larger discounts on trading fees. And then they're offering up to $8,100 in futures trading bonuses, depending on how much you trade in your futures markets. Then we do have MEXC. MEXC is running a new campaign right now where if you deposit $100, you can get $20 for free. And also, let's see here. Let me grab that picture for you guys real quick. If you deposit $100, you can get $20 for free. And then you can earn up to $300 in futures trading bonuses. Now, I know this was only going till July 19th, but they are supposed to be extending this. So if you guys are interested in MEXC, link is in the description in the comments. And then, guys, my newest partner of the channel is Bybit. Bybit has partnered with Divine Hood Trading, and link in the description for Bybit. You guys can actually earn up to $30,000 depending on trading volume there. So, and then lastly, we do have NAMI. NAMI is a momentum and money flow indicator. They're offering a 50% discount for a limited time. Divine50 is the discount code if you guys are interested in using NAMI. I really like NAMI, especially the hidden bull and the hidden bearish div signals. They really do work for me, and one of the reasons why I'm looking for continuation down is because of those hidden bear signals that we are seeing. Putting in a lower high, rejecting from the golden pocket with a hidden bearish div signal on Sui and money flow draining out of the asset, both on Market Cipher B and NAMI, does tell me that we might continue down to make new lows and potentially come down to that 347.2 area. So link is in the description for NAMI as well. And now let's get back to the TA here. Let's go into Say. Say is looking pretty good. We are at major resistance for Say. So first off, let me zoom out onto the daily chart. And let's just get rid of some of these brushes here. So on Say, we are in a bearish pitchfork pulled from the all-time high on Say down to our multi-month correction lows up to our lower high rejection. And you can see Say has just kind of been chopping its way to the downside. But overall, and I talked about this a couple streams ago, we did have that larger, I guess, weekly three-wave zigzag move to the downside where we hit directly into our 1-to-1 Fibonacci correction target. If we just take that trend-based Fibonacci extension and we look at that, you guys can see, if I can get on it. Okay, there we go. There we go. Hitting into that 1-to-1 perfectly, which was also the bottom of the pitchfork. Now, this was the absolute perfect level to look for long. The bottom of your bearish pitchfork and the 1-to-1 correction target. Now, after you see a 3-wave corrective move, after a giant impulse to start the coin's life, we see this really multi-month correction hitting into your 1-to-1, and now we are starting to impulse here. And I do expect that SAY could really break out even to new all-time highs. But with SAY, we are at some major resistance, and we expect this. So you can see we bounced from the bottom of the pitchfork. We broke up to your pitchfork midline. After rejecting from that pitchfork midline, we just corrected all the way back down to now backtest our band as support. We backtested it perfectly to the dollar. And then now we're pumping up. We pumped up through your midline. After pumping up through your midline, if I zoom in here onto the 4-hour chart, you can see we pumped up through that midline, back tested that midline. We took a long there, actually. If you guys were active with me in the Casper crew, I showed this ahead of time. I actually showed this in my live streams ahead of time as well, my videos. And we are pushing up to that upper band. And we did expect to find resistance in this upper band. Let me hide this range real quick here. So you can see the first time we came up to the upper band, we got a rejection, saw a really nice scalp trade, scalp short. Another rejection, overall made a higher low, and we pushed up to the top of the band, the pitchfork band. Now, why is this so important? Because it's also our golden pocket pulled from our last weekly highs down to our weekly lows. Like if you zoom out on the weekly chart, that is your last weekly high to weekly low. And if you pull that golden pocket, you can see that that golden pocket was coming in around 38 to 40 cents. And we hit that golden pocket in perfect confluence with the top band of our pitchfork. And so we could see a bit of a rejection. Or I talked about this on Friday's stream and Thursday's stream. What I expect, because we are looking for a bigger impulse to the upside here, potentially breaking up to new all-time highs, I'm just expecting a bit of a range to form within this area. A slow, like descending channel type of range inside the pitchfork band, potentially for a couple weeks before breaking this to the upside, coming at least to the top of the pitchfork, which is going to be around 50 cents, but really breaking out to take out the highs of 73 cents, 74 cents, and continuing higher. So larger time frames, bullish. Intermediate time frames, ranging and down. And so now if we do zoom in on these 4-hour chart on the intermediate time frame, you can see here that was that perfect hit into the top of the pitchfork band and into our macro golden pocket. And since then, we have been breaking some market structure here. Not our larger market structure. Our larger market structure is still bullish. But on our little move down, like 1 hour and under, we're starting to break some bearish market structure here. You can see we took out our lows. Actually, we didn't take out those lows. Okay, so even on the 1 hour, it's still looking relatively good. But from our highs, we have our low, lower high, lower low. So very locally bearish market structure. And we're just forming the range. We're forming the range within our pitchfork band, which is absolutely to be expected. Let me hide this macro golden pocket. So clean up the chart a bit. And I just want to see this range continue to form, and the range could even come down to take out these lows down here at, I think that's 3260. Yeah, 3106. 3106. So we can pull a volume profile and we can just go and analyze this larger range. We're bouncing from the point of control right now, which also happened to be your local golden pocket area. If we pull a golden pocket from the last lows on the hourly to the highs, actually from these lows here, and you can see golden pocket, point of control. We did see a small bounce from there, but we're continuing to kind of drop to the downside. And I do think there's a potential that we could even come down to the value area low of our range. So we can also do this. We can analyze. I'm just going to get rid of these real quick to clean up the chart. We can take a Fibonacci retracement from the lows of the range to the highs of the range. And you can see that golden pocket coming in is at a key internal liquidity grab. So that's at 33.84. And we do have those internal lows down here from Thursday, July 17th, last Thursday. You can see we have the SFP into our golden pocket. And there is a potential that we could break this pitchfork band come down, sweep this liquidity, and then re-enter the pitchfork band and trade within this general range here. So we got a sideways range, and then we've got our we can almost look at this range as the bigger range, and then we have a smaller range in this area now. You could look at these as two different ranges. Range here, broke that range to the upside, started the smaller range. If we start to fall back underneath this pitchfork, we can combine them into that one big range that I was just showing you. And so let's pull that volume of just this range, and we're about to hit, you can see, of just our upper range, our smaller upper range that we've only been in since the 15th. You can see that we did reject earlier today that value area high of our smaller range. We took some local internal liquidity grab into value area high, and now we're dumping. So now that we've taken the liquidity of this upper range internal liquidity, we can come down and take out the internal liquidity into our 618 of the golden pocket, or the lows of like this more internal liquidity, the lows of this large upper range here at 33.84. But that general area is the next area I would be expecting a bounce. If we lose our pitchfork band, I'm expecting a move at least down to that area, potentially even coming down to sweep our lows at 31.06. But that's about it, guys. And Sui, yes, we are at larger resistance. I mean, even if we chop in here for a bit, I do expect us to not just continue breaking straight to the upside. We do have a naked weekly point of control at 41 cents. We have a daily at 42, and then a weekly at 45. But if we start to break above this band, I do expect that larger impulse to kind of just continue its grind up, and we could be forming a sort of wedge pattern in here, where you come up here, you reject, you come down, reject, come down, and then come up to the top of the pitchfork, where we could see a bigger correction at the top of the pitchfork. 50 cents. That's right around 50 cents. Okay. Let's see. Let's zoom out to the daily. Yeah, guys, we did put in the daily bear divs. So let me clean up this chart just a bit for you. All right. You can see here higher highs on the price action, lower highs on the momentum waves, and now our money flow is also starting to kind of come out on say. So that at least tells me that a range is possible, or even coming down to 31.06 to take out those larger range lows. NAMI, on the other hand, we did have the bear divs, but our money flow is still looking pretty strong on the daily time frame. Let's go to our 4-hour. 4-hour, yeah, money flow is still draining out of the asset, and we did have those bear divs as well. More locally. Higher highs in the price action coming up to hit that 618 macro golden pocket and the top of the pitchfork band. Lower highs on your momentum waves here, but your money flow was still rising to the upside. Now we have gotten a lower high trigger wave. This is not another drive of bear div because we didn't make a new high, but now we have a bearish trigger wave, and money flow has now been consistently draining out for a couple days here. We did also print that hidden bearish div signal on NAMI, and I'm telling you guys, if you guys have studied NAMI at all, those hidden bearish div signals on the chart are really, really invaluable. Hidden bear or hidden bull div signals are really invaluable, and this is giving me a little bit of a bias that we might come down to that golden pocket at 33.84. But that's about it, guys. That's about it for say. Okay, let's continue on in the chat here. Hbar. We can look at Hbar. We have to do CRV real quick, and then we'll do Hbar. Mark Dex, what's up, you sexy fib dancers? You know we're pulling out our fibs and dancing all the time. Thank you. What's up, J Wheels? Yeah, Matrix Mike, I get the comment. You wish you could see what I see whenever you look at the charts. Well, it's just time and learning. You know, I've spent many years learning different types of TA, learning Wyckoff accumulation distribution patterns, learning Elliott wave patterns, learning pitchforks channels, all different kinds of market structure. So all that just comes with experience, and just keep learning. All I would say is you're in here, you got a good attitude, you're willing to learn. So just keep going with it and just keep absorbing stuff, but also find a strategy that works for you and stick with that strategy. And if you have a strategy that's working, there should be no need to change it. So just find a strategy. For me, pitchforks work really, really well. I do like looking on larger time frames on accumulation and distribution patterns, but also Elliott waves are one of the best things you can do to figure out, like, kind of predict price action or give you a higher probability of where price action is going to go. Yeah, and thank you for coming, Matrix Mike. I'm glad that YouTube brought you to me as well. Okay, so let's go on to CRV. CRV. Now, guys, last time we analyzed CRV on Friday, we talked about how we were breaking above the value area high of our range. And this range goes back to December of 2022. So November, December of 2022. This is kind of our bottoming accumulation range of a much larger accumulation. But we also had our smaller accumulation in this area down here in summer of 2024. Summer, really 6 months or so. But say exploded up with a very nice impulse to the upside. We came down, we hit into our lower high golden pocket. Actually, this is the golden pocket I was actually just talking about. So we are bouncing and starting to form some internal bullish price action here as far as the daily time frame goes, and I do expect that curve could continue up here. We're still above the value area high of our range, and that's the most important thing, is we're above that value area high. We're closing, and now we've actually officially, let's check that weekly chart. Yeah, we have officially closed that weekly candle above the value area high of the range. So just like I talked about on Friday, not much has changed. Our major level of support on curve is between 89, the monthly level that we broke above last week. We have not really back tested that monthly level since breaking above it, and our value area high of the range, which is coming in right at that 86 cent area, 86.70, 86 cents. Also, we have that 382 there as well, and that 382 Fibonacci pull. We do know that the 382 acts as support in a strong trend. In this case, it's going to be support. It can also act as resistance in a strong trend. Well, this has been a very strong trend to the upside. So if we expect curve to continue breaking up to its next levels of resistance above, then we would expect this general area of support to hold between 89 and 86 cents, where we would see that bouncing from the bullish backtest of the value area high breakout, breaking out of your volume profile. Oftentimes when you break out, you will see a back test of that general area before continuing to push up potentially much higher. And so 86 to 89 cents, still looking for that. On lower time frames, we're still just ranging within this range. And we can pull our volume profile. Let's just zoom in on the hourly chart. This upper range that we formed since last Wednesday. And you can see every time we come up to the value area high of this range, rejection 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times throughout the weekend, we've rejected from the value area high of the range. And because we are having trouble breaking out of the value area high of this range, we can expect to come down and at least come down to the value area low, but most likely to come take out our semi-equal range lows. So let me go ahead and get rid of this range for just a second, and we'll pull on our range lows are at 90.3 cent, 93.2. So about 90 cents. And right below that is going to be our monthly level. And the monthly level. And so an SFP into those range lows, let me get rid of this guy here. The SFP into our monthly would be at the start of our support level, and we might continue to just wick a little bit lower to that 86 cent area. But rejecting so many times from the value area high is not a good sign. If you're a scalper on CRV, play the range until it breaks. So we are in a small range, and you can play just this range until it breaks. Anytime you get near the value area high of the range, if you do have bearish confirmations on the charts, you can look for shorts. And then you could look for shorts if you break that POC, you're expecting a move down to value area low. You can also pull a Fibonacci from the range lows up to those lower highs. Actually, we're going to do it from these lows here because that was after this move up. And that golden pocket is coming in. Actually, we just saw a bounce earlier from the golden pocket, but it wasn't much of a bounce. Let me zoom in on this so you guys can see that. Bounced from the 618, couldn't even reclaim the POC. So now I expect us to probably move down to our 786, our local 786, which is going to be around the value area low. And if this very local scalp support area doesn't hold, then we are probably going to come take out our semi-equal lows at 90 cents into your 89 cent area of support. But 86 cents, 89 to 86 cents, I still expect that area to be our larger support area, that if it does hold, we continue to push up. And the resistance just above us is that naked monthly point of control in confluence with our macro 786 at about 112.6 to 112.9. Let me zoom out a bit here. You can see that macro 786 is coming in at 112.6. Naked monthly point of control at 112.9. And then if we break that, I expect to move. But really, overall, guys, if you remember from Friday's live stream, there is a potential that we could be breaking up to this 132 area. And just like Ethereum, we're looking for Ethereum to possibly continue in its wave 3 impulse up to that 45.34. We know that CRV had this big push up in an impulse. We corrected down to our macro higher low golden pocket, our log golden pocket, and bounced. And so far, this does look like a pretty strong impulse in a wave 3. And your wave 3, the most common area of rejection is to make it up to that 1.618, reject from that area. Then you would be expecting a pretty large corrective move before continuing in a wave 5, potentially up to that 158 area. But that is CRV in a nutshell, guys. Locally, in a small range, you can trade that range. I'm personally not interested until we come down to 89 to 86 cents. If we're coming down there, because our larger time frame money flow still does look bullish, and we are printing hidden bull div signals on some pretty high time frames here, I'm actually expecting that support level to hold. And if we do come down there with lower time frame bull divs, so like on the 1 hour and under, as we're continuing to grind down here, maybe we see a bounce from that 786, reject from POC, and then come down. I would expect to see lower lows on the price action and some higher lows on the momentum waves. And if we are seeing that coming in and our money flow also kind of bottomed out and starting to rise to the upside, then I would be looking for a long from that general area. So I'm not blindly setting limit long orders between 89 and 86. I'm waiting till we get down there. Actually, what we can do is you can just click on that 90.3 low, set an alert there. Create that alert. If that goes off, that's going to alert you that, hey, you're getting close to support. Now it's time to pay attention to the chart and see if you have confirmations to enter. Okay, that is it for CRV. And then let's see, what was the next one? Hbar. We can look at Hbar. I haven't looked at Hbar in a long time. Jafiel, what's up, man? Welcome in. It's good to see you in here. Bitcoin's going to 113.8. Well, it could. I still think that our first support level is going to be that 115.2 area, 115.2, 115.3. Based off of this major pitchfork midline that we're seeing in here. And actually now it's rising up even to about 115.6-ish. And you can see that's an SFP of our lows. SFP of the lows into the pitchfork band. That could be the area where we do bounce. And Ben, the reason why I am looking at this level of support, because this pitchfork is such a valuable high time frame level, key levels throughout the entire bull market. You can see here throughout the, let me zoom out to the 3-day chart. And throughout the entire bull market, our bull market structure from the lows, you can see that this on higher time frames, every single major area has been highly respected. Resistance, resistance. You know, you make your flat correction here in a wave 2, you break above the band, you back test the band, you come up to the midline, reject from the midline, work your way down in 2024 to back test the band, hold it as support, break above that midline. We were chopping, trying to hold it for 2 months, but once we lost it, back test, drop down, and we're breaking above that midline again. And we closed, let's see, did we close our weekly candle? Let me go ahead and zoom out to the weekly. Yeah, we closed last week's candle above that midline, and actually both 2 weeks now in a row. We closed the weekly candle above it, a big, nice volume imbalance candle breaking that structure to the upside. And even yesterday, not yesterday, last week, that just literally closed 21 minutes ago, even though it was a red candle with pretty bearish wick on the weekly, it is still above that midline. So as long as we're above that midline now, I'm going to be looking at that to be flipped to support again. This is a bit concerning though, guys. If we look on our weekly time frame, higher highs 3 times on the price action, lower highs 3 times on the momentum waves, money flow, lower high here, lower high here. Money flow on the weekly is starting to top out. These are the types of high time frame bearish signals that I look for towards the end of bull markets. I'm not saying it's over yet, but towards the end. And we also have this wedgie type structure. If we look at our, let's just pull a ray here. And if we look at this ray, let me get rid of this guy. This wedgie type structure that you often see where you form this wedge to finish. Now we can continue breaking up in this wedge for a bit more, but on the weekly time frame, you're squeezing tighter and tighter. And if you squeeze with this wedge, boom, and then the wedge finally breaks down and you get your big bear market come in. So just be aware, and this is on a weekly time frame, guys, so this will take time, but it is looking like a kind of an exhaustive topping pattern on the weekly time frame here. Just be aware that with high time frame bearish confirmations already confirmed. Triple drive. Okay, what was next up on the list? It was Hbar. Okay, looks like I did Hbar a real long time ago, but we can look at Hbar. Let me check the chat real quick here. Yeah, Dead Cat, I do have an Elliott wave count. I think that CRV, I don't know if you were watching the stream when I just covered it, but there's a potential we could shoot up in a wave 3 impulse to that 132 area. Really, you don't want to lose that value area high again. And let's see, let me just... So the value area high is coming in around 86 cents. If you lose 86 cents and start to close like 4 hours and 4 hours or higher below 86, there's a potential that we could correct much lower. But I do expect continuation on this overall push up. And by the way, like this, because we're on the weekly time frame, you have your huge weekly low, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then your 5. You're looking for a 5th wave in the weekly impulse up. And within that, you should see a 5-wave count within the 5th wave, and that's what we're looking at. This is a 1, 2, a push up to 132 as your 3, and then 4 and 5, potentially ending at like 158 or so. Okay, Hbar. Let me just go ahead and get rid of a lot of this. Looks like we did come up to a naked daily and we're rejecting. This was a box of resistance that we had on the charts. We also have some boxes of resistance that have not been hit yet on the charts. We'll pull those over. All right, I just want to mark out some high time frame levels real quick. We've got our monthly level. Where you at? There you are. We've got our monthly support. Weekly, we have a weekly way down below, but it's below our monthly, so I'm not going to mark that out. And then our weekly resistance, we are actually breaking above. I'm gonna mark this, even though we have broken it. Now this is going to act as a key back test because you can see it's also entering back within this upper channel. And we'll look at this channel in just a second here. But that weekly, I'm going to leave on the charts. Let me get rid of these. Has this weekly been hit? Yes, that weekly's been hit. Okay, and then let's go zoom in onto the daily. So you saw this upper range. We broke it down, kind of back tested it. It's not the best channel though. It wasn't the highest respected. But you can see, I would say, just like many coins, December of 2024, we have highs on many coins and we've been ranging sideways since. So you pull your volume profile and analyze that range. Let me get it all the way. And we just hit into the value area high of the range, which was also our box of resistance. Naked daily point of control, the point of control of this upper range up here, and a golden pocket was up there. So potential we could see a rejection from this area, but it is looking quite bullish here as far as this impulse up. But this impulse on the daily, you have your 1, 2, possibly another 1, 2, 1, 2. There's your let's zoom in on this actually so we can get a better look. 4-hour chart. Just like Bitcoin, we're looking at a multiple 1-2 impulse to the upside, or a double 1-2. So you have your lows, you have your wave 1, your wave 2. I wouldn't even call this a wave, another wave 1, because you didn't break the highs. So wave 1, wave 2, 1, 2, and then this would be the start. 1, 2, 1, 2 here, and then this is the start of your third wave. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. So that's the end of your third wave within your bigger 1, 2, and then you have a 4, 5. So actually, we might be expecting one more high to be put in here to complete this impulse to the upside. This much larger impulse, but it is rejecting from the value area high of our year-long range. It's a little bit over a year and a half long range actually. On the daily, okay, monthly is just above. I do like that monthly level up there at 3657. And let me do one more thing here. Let's hide this range and let's come in and check out our bullish pitchfork. We are going to make that an original pitchfork. Yeah, we're at the upper band. So if we look at, let's zoom in now and let's look at this. You can see that we had some chop within and around the lower band. Pushed up. Actually, this pitchfork is not the nicest respected, I have to say. Let me fix it. I hate how TradingView does this. It's not the nicest respected, to be honest with you guys. But you can see we hit into the upper band, kind of rejected, chopped around that band. You can see lower, rejected the lower band, came down. Chopped around the band, broke up, and then we broke above the midline. Once again, guys, these important breaks with volume imbalance candles breaking above it, showing a strong break of this area. And now we are coming up to the upper band, and we're rejecting the upper band and the value area high. Just like we're seeing on many coins right now, breaking above the upper band, breaking into the value area high and the upper band, and starting to reject. We did just reject on the 4-hour from a lower high. Let's pull that Fibonacci from our highs to our lows. Highs on Thursday to lows on Friday. Turn on that golden pocket. And just like with Bitcoin, just like with, what was it? SUI. We rejected from that lower high golden pocket. So looking like we could see that 3-wave move continue down here. And then that would make, because remember, we're looking for one more wave forward to the downside before one more push up in a wave 5 to break the highs to finish that impulse. So let's go ahead and pull a trend-based Fibonacci extension. That 1-to-1 target coming in around 24 cents to 23. I actually like this 23 cent area if it takes a while to get down there. it could be around your pitchfork midline. Then we also have these lows. Okay, that's a bit lower. Internal liquidity grab there. I would say you're at major resistance. You're rejecting from your value area high of your 1.5 year long range. I'm going to delete this box now because we just hit into it. You're at the upper pitchfork band and your value area high. You can see we did have the bear divs coming in. Higher highs here, lower highs here. Money flow is now topped out and is pretty consistently draining out of the asset. And I would start to look at this as now starting to form a sideways range. You can see these semi-equal lows down here. And then we have the highs. So I would be looking at the range as between the midline and the upper band there. And there's a potential that we could come down. Let's pull that golden pocket from our lows to our highs. 25-cent area. Okay, this is pretty nice in the respects that we do have a liquidity grab into a golden pocket. And we talk about this a lot on the channel. Anytime you have a liquidity grab of a kilo into a golden pocket, that is nice. And your ABC correction does not have to come to the 1-to-1 Fibonacci extinction target. It's the most common area. But sometimes we see an ABC where it literally just comes and sweeps the lows of A and then finishes. So that sweep of the lows on Friday into that golden pocket would be your first area of support. But also you can see here that it's kind of your prior highs in this general area. So highs, resistance, now support, and then it could act as support again. That general area. That would be the first level I'd even be interested in longing. Yes, we are above the weekly. And this weekly, I did tell you we've broken, this is tapped now. So we tapped that and closed above it. And we did break above it with this nice volume imbalance candle to the upside. So weekly level at 26.41, we might bounce from that area, but I would actually be looking, the first level I'd even personally myself be interested in looking for long is at 25 to 24 cents. But I mean, that's a very dangerous long because we are starting to see higher time frame bear divs here. And I would just say the only way that I would long this is if we saw the confirmed swing failure pattern. So what does that mean? As you're coming down here, you pierce that low into your golden pocket. And then once you reclaim that low, once you reclaim 25,319, you can put the long there. You can enter long. Your stop is going to go below wherever that wick low was at that golden pocket. And I would really just be targeting the highs at the top of the pitchfork band. For me personally, I'd be targeting that. That's a 10-to-1 risk reward ratio if you did that. And then you could leave some to run just in case you come up to that monthly level above at 36.5. Let's look on the 2-day chart. Yeah, so 2-day chart. Money flow has crossed over into the green and is looking pretty strong. Your momentum wave is starting to curl over here. Let's do the weekly chart. And your weekly money flow, okay, it still looks pretty good. It's coming to the upside here. Overall, I would say Hbar has a strong possibility of continuing up, but we might see a bit of a correction over the next couple weeks here because you're hitting into the top of that pitchfork band and you could correct as low as that midline coming in around 23 cents, 22, 23 cents. I would really want to hold that midline. Now remember, just like with Bitcoin, when Bitcoin hit into its when Bitcoin broke above its midline with that volume imbalance candle here, and then we ranged for a bit, we came to the upper band and we never back tested this midline as support to confirm a flip to support. So what ended up happening is we got that 3-wave corrective move finally hitting into that midline. And once we hit into it, we made new all-time highs. So we could be looking for something very similar on Hbar. We broke above that midline with a volume imbalance candle. Let's zoom in on to the 2-hour chart. And we came close to back testing that midline, but we didn't with this little range here. this little sideways range that we saw right here. So there is a potential that we could drop back down. There is a potential we could drop back down to that midline before continuing higher. Yeah, 8 hours got some bear divs as well. Just be aware, we're at the macro value area high of our 1.5 long range. And we are seeing lower highs on the excuse me, bear divs on the momentum waves. Money flow still does look good though. So because this money flow is rising, it's going to overpower these bear divs until that money flow starts to curve and roll over. And it's looking like it's starting to try to do that. So just be aware. I wouldn't definitely not be longing up in this area like for a swing long position. You've already ran quite a bit here. Okay, let's see here. Let me go on to the comments. If I had a crystal ball, how many weeks would I say we have left? For the bull market, well, based off the 4-year cycle, we could expect it to end in September to like October, November. November in the past has been I think it was November of 2021. We had the last top of our 4-year cycle. So it could be around November, but I don't want to, time-wise, I really don't care how time-wise, and even price-wise, because as a trader, you can make money shorting or longing it. So what I'm focused on as a trader is mapping out the key levels to both the downside and to the upside, your support levels, your resistance levels, and trading whichever scenario comes. As a trader, now as a spot holder, yes, you want Bitcoin and all your altcoins to continue pumping. But overall, I would say it doesn't really matter. Now, with that weekly bear dip that we're seeing on the weekly chart on Bitcoin, that is very concerning to me as a higher time frame, or for my spot bags. This is high time frame, and this is telling me that it's definitely not the beginning of a bull market. We're getting toward the end stages of a bull market. Definitely closer to the end than to the beginning. Now, is there that potential that Bitcoin's going to have that infamous super cycle and continue? Yes, there is that potential. But you can see on the weekly time frame, money flow is now starting to top out, and it looks like it's going to try to roll over. So we close 1 or 2 more weeks red, then, it's just 74K highs to your 108K highs to your 112K highs up to your 123K highs. 4 drives of bear div here that are pretty concerning. And money flow bear divs. That to me should be signaling that it's closer to an end than not. Yeah, Johnny, no problem, man. Hbar, let me go back to Hbar real quick. I really like that 23-cent area. If we do come down to that midline and with some bull divs, I would probably be looking for long there. But if we start to reject from the value area highs, let's turn on that large range again. You can see we're rejecting, and let me clean up this chart. This chart looks horrendous. I'm just going to hide this weekly, and let's hide some of these guys up here. Yeah, so rejecting value area high. You can see one good thing that we did do on this is we lost the value area low of the range down here. We broke back into the value area and we back tested that value area, confirming a flip back into support and confirming that the market wanted to retrade within that fair value. And then we had another rejection from the bottom of the pitchfork band, came down and back tested that value area low a second time. Now the market confirmed a second time. Yes, it does want to trade within the value area of this price for Hbar. And because we were at undervalued, of course, we break above the POC, we back test that POC 2 times locally. Now the market is confirming that the fair value is acting as support. They're bullish pretty much. So of course that POC is going to confirm to support, and then you're going to push up to the value area high. Now that we're heading into the value area high with some high to intermediate time frame bear divs, you could see a move down. You could see a bit of a move down here. So just be aware you're at that macro value area high, and it's also the upper band of the pitchfork. And then now we're starting to lose that band as well. With rejecting from the upper band, coming to your lower high golden pocket, rejecting that, now we could be coming back down a little bit here. Yeah, and I do say there is a potential that we could come take out the lows at 22,309, but even at that point, you'd be starting to lose your pitchfork midline, which unless you SFP and then get right back above it, that would actually be a really bullish sign for me. But if you SFP this only to come up, like let me zoom in a bit here. And let's just look at this, because one of the potentials that you could see if you're starting to lose that midline is you come down, you SFP this range low, but then you come up and you reject that pitchfork midline, then you're probably going to continue dumping down. If we got a quick flush down, which we do expect impulse in a wave C, if you have your A, B, C, your wave C is generally impulsive, and so it could be boom, boom, done, now pump. Yeah, Johnny, what I recommend for laying out your charts is, like, I'll show you my Bitcoin chart because, and this is hard to keep up with every single chart, but you obviously have an object tree here. So you can see I have folders, and all my folders are labeled. So like I'll mark out all my daily levels, and I have all my daily levels on the chart. I try to keep that updated and regular. And then I have all my, I have multiple pitchforks on the chart. These pitchforks, by the way, are the same pitchfork on, my other, this pitchfork here. Actually, not this one, but the other one. And so what you want to do is generally keep your chart organized. Naked monthly points of controls, I have those on the chart. Naked weekly points of controls, I have. That one was the one that just confirmed, by the way, 45 minutes ago. We have a brand new naked weekly point of control at 119.7-ish. Naked daily points of controls, looks like we are, let me see. Yeah, this one was from today at 118. So we have a naked daily point of control above us. I marked it out about 45 minutes before the close because I didn't think we'd get back up there. Yeah, see, it's naked. So that's from the close 45 minutes ago. But you can see I have them marked out here. Now you're not going to mark out today's because it just started, so it's not confirmed. But just mark out all your stuff, and then you can have it, and then find confluences. And generally where there's confluences of support or resistance, that's where I'll draw my boxes of interest. And I do not trade. I let the market come to me. Find your levels of interest, let the market come to you. And if you have confirmations, that's what I use Market Cypher B and NAMI for. Then I will enter a trade or decide not to enter a trade based off of a lack of confirmations. And with a good discipline and good strategy like that, you can generally kind of find what you're looking for. Okay, guys, shoot, how long have I been streaming for? An hour and 15 minutes. I'm already a little bit late here. If you guys want me to look at anything else, I've got about 5 to 10 minutes left. Otherwise, I'm going to take off for today. But just know, like with Ethereum, guys, Ethereum's looking really bullish. As long as we're above that value area high, which is about 3,500. And more specifically, like let me zoom out on Ethereum, because I do expect Ethereum could continue all the way up to 4,500. The larger value area high of our 4-year range is at the bottom of the pitchfork, and that's about 3420, 3421. That is the key area, but this area of support here, let's go to the daily time frame, is going to be our key area of support. You can see it's our range that goes back to March of 2024, but also our 4-year long range, the whole upper price action of Ethereum after its, giant impulse to the upside here. So we're breaking above that value area high. And we could see a move to the top of the pitchfork, which is also your 1.618 trend-based Fibonacci extinction. I really do think there's a high chance that we could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, continuing up to new all-time highs. Brett Base, if you want to degen. Brett Base, is that Brett coin on base? Just Brett the meme coin? Well, let's look at this one. Is this the one you're talking about? This Brett coin? Istophobic? Yeah, I can, Mike, I'll look at Solana too here. But I just want to check with you, Istophobic. Is this the Brett coin you're talking about? The meme coin? Brett on base. Yeah, okay. Let's get rid of that. Well, it's been pretty bearish looking, but... and Johnny, thank you for the super chat, and Istophobic, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that, you guys. Oof. Okay, let's get rid of this. Matt Weekly. Actually, I'm not going to mark that one out because we do have... We're actually hitting into a monthly right now, or this is a monthly. So let's zoom in on the daily time frame real quick. Did we reject? So we're at a monthly resistance right now. You can see we're struggling with breaking above it. And I would look at, as far as the daily time frame goes, I would be looking at this range here, sideways, hitting into value area high and our monthly. And there's a potential that we could correct all the way back down to your point of control, which is at your weekly at 44 or 0.44. Let's look at our fib there, because your fib, yeah, your golden pocket's right in that area. So I'd say your major area of support, it's also your support resistance flip. Like, check this out here, as far as this goes. Support here, resistance all through here. So now it's going to be acting as support again. And that's 100% move to the upside. So let me do this. Yeah, okay, much better. So when you turn that based off log scale, it does shift your golden pocket down a bit. And so I would say weekly golden pocket here, 44 to 42 cents is your major support level. That is where you're definitely going to want to be looking for a potential long opportunity if you do come all the way back down there. Money flow looks pretty good on the daily, but you can see now it's crossing back into the red. You're rejecting, and you can see we're crossing back into the red here. And Nami is confirming bear divs, triple drive of bear divs, higher highs on all the dailies, coming up into your value area high. Money flow draining out of the asset. Money flow crossing back into the red on Market Cipher B. So there's a potential that we could see a bit of a drop here on Brett. And we do have that ascending channel here. If you start to lose this micro trend, this is an exhaustive trend. So oftentimes you'll exhaust towards the end of an impulse. Like you can see here, it's very clear. You get your channel type structure here. You get your big push up in your wave 3, and then you get your 4 5s here. So you get your start of the impulse, the main impulse, and then the exhaustion of the impulse, and then that's when your overall impulse can complete, and then you're going to be expecting a move down to the golden pocket, which is that weekly level in that POC. It's right in this box. So if we break this channel here, if we break, I would say like 0.55, there's a potential we could come all the way back down to 44 to 42, 0.44, 0.42. But looking on the 4 hour now, We actually haven't quite hit the value area high yet. We just barely front ran it. And I would like to see us actually come up and touch it. It's at 67, 0.67. But yes, you are seeing, even in this channel here, higher highs on the price action, lower highs on the momentum waves, money flows draining out of the asset. Hidden bear div signal just printed on NAMI into a lower high. So I actually think that you could continue dropping a bit here. Let's take our trend-based Fibonacci extinction. Yeah, that between the 1-to-1 and the 1.236 could be your little three-wave corrective lows if you're just seeing like a mini ABC in here. ABC here. And coming down to that 1.236 is like the SFP of those little lows too, your channel lows. And remember, anytime you break a channel to the downside, you often will sweep the liquidity of that channel. So that is your very first local support level that I'd be watching, is that 50 cent area, 53 to 50 cent. Well, thank you, Jay. I appreciate that, man. Thank you guys so much, Johnny. I appreciate the super chats, and honestly, thank you guys. So, okay, pretty sure I learned more here hanging out with you than I have in the past 6 months. The way you go over everything. So, Mike, that's one of the things that I like to do, is I really like to go over why. I don't just give you guys random targets and say, oh, this is my bias. I like to give you guys the why of it as well. So I'm explaining, you know, the thought process behind it. And I do think that's a good way to learn as well. So others have done that for me, and I just want to pass it on as well. And I do think learning how to trade for yourself is the ultimate goal for most people that are trading. So I'm glad that that way works for you. And like, just honestly, thank you for being part of the community here. Let's go through Solana real quick, guys, and then I gotta go. But Solana, I just like on Friday's live stream, I'm expecting it to move up to 187, 189 to 198. Because we broke above, you know, this is our big daily volume profile from March 2024 highs, you know, the same kind of upper range that a lot of the altcoins have been in. And we deviated the value area low, came back within it, back tested it, got above the POC, back tested it. We came up, but we front ran that value area high. We barely didn't, we missed it. You know, overall came down to the POC, tried to hold it a couple times, lost it, came down, didn't quite hit the value area low, but we ended, I think that was your golden pocket area. Let me check that. I'm pretty sure that was your golden pocket. No, it wasn't. That's why this, oh wait, that's your log golden pocket. Hold on, let me turn it off log scale. Yeah, it was your golden pocket. So you hit into the golden pocket and you bounce. That should also tell you, because we broke market structure bullishly, right? Here's a high, you broke it, and you made a higher low. So, you know, higher high, higher low, higher high, market structure, higher low, higher high. So you'd broken market structure both here and here. And now I'm really expecting us, after breaking market structure bullishly, more macroly, you come down, you bounce from your macro golden pocket of that entire impulse up. Now we can expect a move up. Really, Solana could be about to run as bullishly as ETH did, but the very local resistance just above us is that it's a macro log golden pocket. And the reason it's a log golden pocket pulled from this high, let me get, pulled from your highs to your lows, it's more than a 30% drop. So because that's more than a 30% drop, you want to use log scale. It's a 67% drop. So when you're pulling that fib, you just want to go in and turn it on log scale. And also you want your chart to be on log scale. But that macro golden pocket is at your macro value area high, and you have a liquidity grab, a key liquidity grab into that area. So I'm still long on Solana from much, much lower. And I've been holding on to this trade for like weeks, it feels like, probably months now. And I'm looking to come up to 189 to 198. And if we do reject from here, I will probably take some profit and then look to re-enter maybe on the anchored VWAP. Or, you know, we'll look at it. If we start to reject from here, we can look at targets. But the very bullish scenario is that we're about to start the same thing that Ethereum's doing. a 3, 4, 5. We could start an impulse to new all-time highs, really coming up and, getting up there on this thing. So let's go ahead and look at there. We're going to go to the 1.618, but we're going to turn that there. 275 would be your wave 3, and that's almost near your all-time highs. You could push up in this impulse, this particular thing here. Oop. All the way up to 275. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, it absolutely can. Like, once these all start running, they start running. But this resistance here at like 200 to 189 is going to be big resistance. So I don't know if we're going to bust straight through it like that. If we do, then yeah, I mean, like, we have a pretty clear shot up there. Yes, of course, we do have some levels. If we look at our monthly levels, we have a monthly level at 231, and I believe there was a naked weekly point of control there as well. Let's see here. Yeah, naked weekly point of control on top of that monthly at 231 to 235. Now your naked monthly, you also have a naked monthly up in this area, this purple box at 200 or 198. 198 is a naked monthly, along with that golden pocket. And there's a naked weekly in there as well. That box, that purple box above us, just above us, is very strong resistance. Break above this, and I think we're pretty much going to come up to 231 to 235. There is some daily levels before then, but really it's, like 199 is pretty much at 198 where that naked monthly is. And then you have 216 in there, but other than that, everything is up here. The next big box is up here. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. This is your next big box of resistance. If you break 200. I think we are going to continue up to at least come take out our highs at 189. These lower, 187.7, but you can see our value area high is at 189.26. Now, I even think we could come up just pierce that value area high just a bit to come and hit your golden pocket. And then if you start to close down below that value area high, for me, that would be a short signal, a potential swing short signal, or at least like a nice short to come down to anchored VWAP. That's still a great trade. Crypto Wanderer, thank you, man. It's awesome to hear you're a lurker here, and thank you for chiming in here, and thank you for the kind comment. Michael, good morning. Signed up for the new exchange and waiting to have my ID confirmed. Awesome, dude. Well, you don't have to do KYC on it. Like, you don't have to do KYC to trade on the exchange, but if you want to, feel free. Anyways, guys, it is time for me to go. I got a few things that I got to get doing right about now. So thank you so much for joining. I will be live Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you want to join in, please join me. We will cover all the updates. We'll cover more altcoins and look for some good trading setups here. So thank you for tuning in, and I will see you. I'll make